Hi everyone, I'm Olga, your wine guide. Welcome to my channel where I answer all your wine questions. Zero BS, no snobbery, real facts, straightforward, everything you need to know about wine. Yes, I'm pregnant. That's why today we're talking about how much wine you can actually drink when you're pregnant. Whether wine is better or healthier than other types of alcohol. What to replace wine with? Are zero alcohol wines actually zero alcohol? And are all alcohol-free drinks made equal? I know it's kind of weird to start my channel about wine with a video about zero alcohol wines, but it's kind of very relevant for me right now. My pregnancy is also the reason why I'm sitting awkwardly. This video is going to be useful not just for pregnant people, but also for everyone who needs to avoid alcohol for any health reasons, or who wants to understand how alcohol-free drinks work. Naturally, as a wine professional, when I got pregnant, I did my own research around pregnancy and alcohol. What kind of shocked me is how much misinformation is out there. There's so much misrepresentation of the facts. That's why I decided to do this video, because I couldn't fit everything in 1 minute short. Let's discuss the influence of alcohol on the body and on the fetus, what it actually does. So alcohol can cause physical, cognitive, developmental and emotional impairment in children if the mother consumes alcohol. At the same time, the shit I've heard people say online, 1 glass of wine a day is okay. I've been drinking 1 glass a day, but only after 30 weeks, like that changes something. Or somebody found somewhere a guide that less than 4 glasses a week is okay. The most messed up video that I've actually seen about how, a glass of wine is okay if you're pregnant was where they were discussing that a glass of wine of about 13.5% will digest in your body to 0.5% of alcohol, which is negligible, because that's the same amount of alcohol that is contained in kombucha or kefir or other products like overripe bananas, which is true. All those products do have some amount of alcohol, but you see where the logic breaks, because if you eat a banana with 0.5% alcohol, it will also be digested to what? 0.2, 0.1. So glass of wine, 13.5% is not the same as a glass of kombucha. That horrible misrepresentation just terrified me. Anyway, I'm sorry, it's a bit of a rant, but I really get frustrated when I see those things on the internet, because what you do is your own choice. But when you talk about something on the internet, it may give a permission to somebody, or it may confuse somebody, especially when there are videos that look like scientific, or when there are influencers talking about how they were drinking wine, or they got an advice from their midwife to have some wine at later stages of their pregnancy. And I know it used to be a legit medical advice, but don't forget that doctors also used to prescribe cigarettes from constipation. Okay? Bad news, I'm not gonna tell you that any amount of alcohol is safe, because it is not. What alcohol can influence is not only visual, physical impairments or problems with development. It may be seen only later in life, like difficulties with learning, behavioral problems, problems with attitude, problems with emotional regulation and stuff like that. And the most interesting thing here is that none of the officials can tell you if there is a safe amount of alcohol. So the official recommendation from WHO, CDC and Australian Health Department is that there's no safe amount of alcohol. Another thing is that according to health professionals, and I'm going to quote Melbourne Women's Hospital, is that it's impossible to predict which amount of alcohol and when is going to affect the baby and how it's going to affect it. Main reason is that there's not enough data and there's not enough research about how alcohol actually affects the fetus. And fair enough, because who would do such a study? Who would do such research of, giving alcohol to pregnant women? Sorry for bad news, but it's easier to not drink at all than playing a Russian roulette, with alcohol while you're pregnant. Another thing that I've heard is that wine is better than other types of alcohol. Look, alcohol is alcohol. It's ethanol, whether it is in a glass of wine or in a shot of vodka. Around 100 mils of wine equals to 30 mils of vodka. People say, but wine has antioxidants and it helps with red blood cells production, which is actually good in pregnancy. There's no difference in how it affects the body. Yes, there are some beneficial elements in wine like tannins that are antioxidants, but they're not covering the effects of ethanol in wine. So now that I'm done with my rant, the summary, there's no safe amount of alcohol, not just during pregnancy, but for anyone. So this recommendation from WHO goes for everyone. So now, interesting part, let's talk about zero alcohol wines. Are there actually zero alcohol? First thing that you need to understand, and I'm going to talk about Australia because that's where I live, that's what I know. In Australia, there are recommendations. And what the recommendation says is that the wine can be called alcohol-free or zero alcohol if there is less than 0.5% alcohol in it. Which means that if the bottle says zero alcohol, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's no alcohol in it. So there can be 0.1, 0.2, 0.5. Whether it is a negligible amount for you or it is significant, it's up for you to decide. At the same time, there are drinks that can be called virgin or alcohol-free that do have 0% of alcohol because they were made different. And now let's talk about why this happens. So there are generally two types of zero alcohol products on the market. First group are the products that were initially made as alcoholic drinks. It was made like normal wine, it went through fermentation, it had alcohol. Then alcohol was removed from wine through usually through a process called reverse osmosis, where basically the wine is spinned in the cone in high velocity so that the molecules of alcohol separate from the wine. I'll probably talk about, the results of the extraction and how it influences the taste of wine in a different video. So today let's focus just on alcohol content. Even though that process is pretty good, it's still not 100% guaranteed. So there still can be traces of alcohol in wine. And it can be even different from bottle to bottle or from batch to batch. So it's really difficult to predict. Very good example, Odd Bird, but what it says at the back of the label, never more than 0.2% alcohol. They refine their process to the extent that they can safely say that there's no more than 0.2%, but there's still alcohol. And why it is important? I think it's important to talk in the context of the amount of this you're drinking, because before I knew that, before I understood that there's still alcohol in those wines, I could drink the whole bottle because it's easy drinking. You're drinking it like a soft drink and it's pleasant, it's not very sweet, tastes great. And then I realized that if you drink quickly, alcohol has a tendency to accumulate in your body. Anyway, this is information for you to decide how you want to approach it, but I believe that this is very important information to make decision. Now, second group of alcohol-free drinks are drinks that were not made with fermentation. Something like this, for example, fetus drinks. They're made from wine grape varieties. This, for example, is made from Sauvignon Blanc grapes, but they never went through fermentation. So these kind of drinks, they're safe because they're definitely truly 0% alcohol free. I'm sorry I didn't give you good news, but I told you that I'm going to be honest and straightforward with you. I hope it was useful. I hope it was interesting. Let me know in comments what questions you have about wine. Don't forget to subscribe because I will answer all of them. See you back here soon. Bye.